Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Collin. I'm going to call the meeting of the whole to order on July the 3rd at 6 p.m. I'd like to acknowledge that we are in the Mi'kma'ki, the traditional Northern Saskatchewan territory of the Mi'kmaq people. We are not all present. Councillor Hapling is away, so her regrets. I got to read this that one. Live stream. Additions to the agenda.
None for me.
None. Approval of the agenda. I will approve that by unanimous decision. Approval of the committee of the whole minutes from June the 5th. Okay, I will approve those by unanimous decision. And now we'll read the presentations. I have Sherry Foster.
Yep. She's on.
Oh, hi. 211 Nova Scotia presentation by Sherry Foster.
Okay, you're ready for me.
Just gonna turn it up. In.
All right. So thank you for having me. My name is Sherry Forster, and I am the manager of marketing and communications for 211 Nova Scotia. So let's get started. So 211 Nova Scotia is a free and confidential information and referral service that connects people in Nova Scotia to community, not-for-profit, and government programs and services. So we do not offer any programs directly. Instead, we act as a centralized resource for people and service providers to connect to a network of available supports. So why do we exist? We have all had the experience at one time or another when we didn't know where to find a particular answer, have gotten frustrated when trying to access help. So this frustration can manifest in a few different ways, but some common scenarios are that a person may choose to not seek help because they don't know where to start, or they believe the help is not available. A person may give up on finding help out of frustration or lack of resources, or the person may find help, but the help may not be as complete or well suited as it could be. So these reasons, combined with programs being underutilized, led to the creation of 211 Nova Scotia over 10 years ago. So not only does 211 help folks cut through the noise to help find the right programs and services, but we also ensure that we have the most up-to-date information possible, because details such as eligibility, funding, hours, location change regularly, making it difficult for people to stay up to date. So our database has over 7,500 records to help address unmet human needs in Nova Scotia. So the resource database includes organizations that are providing direct services that are available to the general public. So your for-profit commercial resources are not, and private resources are not going to be included in our database unless they're providing a service that is free or low cost and generally available to the public. So our database has resources to support food needs, homelessness, housing, the 2SL LGBTQI+ community, children, youth, families, and more. I'll note that the majority of our resource database that our navigators use is accessible by the public on our website. So on our website, you can access 22 of these different topics, which are represented by these icons. And within these topics, there's a further 100+ subcategories to help people navigate our website and find the resources to help meet their needs. We also have a search tool on our website, and that tool can be used to search at the county level, community, address, or postal code. So we have a small but mighty data team who, as a requirement of our accreditation, diligently adds, maintains, and verifies our records on an annual basis to ensure the continuing quality of our information. So there are many different ways that people can get in contact with our navigators. So we have telephone, email, text messaging, and web-based chat. So our phone lines are answered by a trained community resource navigator 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, including weekends and holidays. Whereas our other methods of contact are limited to more traditional business hours, as these contacts methods are a little bit more labor intensive for our team. And you can also search our public database on our website. And I will also note that we have interpretation services available by telephone, where an individual actually joins the call and interprets the conversation in real time. And that service is available in over 240 languages and typically accessed in under a minute. So in 2023, 211 Nova Scotia's community resource navigators answered over 79,000 contacts for people in Nova Scotia. So for our purposes, contacts are defined as calls, texts, chats, emails. And in the last 5 years, we've actually seen a 116% increase in our contact volumes. We've also seen an increase in the number of referrals given out to each individual. Part of that reason that our navigators are giving multiple referrals is because people's needs are often layered and complicated. It's just not one need. So an example to illustrate this point is in any given week, 3 people could reach out to us looking for emergency food support. So through our assessment process, the navigator may learn that one person has recently lost their job, another one has lost a loved one, and the third person has perhaps left an unsafe situation. So each of these 3 people have a reduced income and are struggling with the cost of food. However, those underlying needs are going to require very different referrals. So I took a look at our data and was able to identify just under 1,100 contacts from people who provided a postal code in Annapolis County. So of those contacts, approximately 250 provided a postal code from Annapolis Royal. So in looking at the contacts from the county, I was able to identify that they were highest from May till September, and that they were almost all recorded as being women aged 35 to 54. So some other stats are that most of the contacts were phone calls, and the average call length was over 7 minutes long, which is higher than our provincial average. So our top identified needs shifted for the first time last year. So referrals to the mental health and substance use disorder category have surpassed referrals for basic needs. From what we can tell, this change is largely attributed to high usage rates of the men's, women's, and all genders helplines, which are free and confidential mental health helplines that can be accessed via 211 Nova Scotia 24 hours a day. So I mentioned basic needs is typically our highest category of referrals. So this category includes food, housing, shelter, utilities, transportation, and material goods. So that's sitting at 22% of all of our referrals for last year. So community services would include programs that provide a broad spectrum of services that benefit entire communities or regions. So municipal services, MLA offices, and disaster financial assistance programs would typically fall into this category for us. Healthcare accounted for 10% of all our referrals. The individual and family life category includes programs that replace or supplement the care or support that is generally available through the family unit. So family resource centers, youth groups, support groups would fall into this category. Again, I checked into the stats for Annapolis County, and so top needs identified for the county were reflective of the provincial needs. Mental health, basic needs, income support, community services, and healthcare were what I was able to identify as top needs at the county level. So how can we help you folks? So as community leaders, I encourage you all to reach out to us, our navigators, and to disclose who you are, your position, but also to refer residents to speak to our navigators, because sometimes people don't want to open up and share those personal struggles. You're all very likely very well connected to local supports, but we distinguish between resources that are within a community and those that serve a community. So often there are resources that may serve all of Nova Scotia or serve Canada that people are often missing and when they're researching available supports. Also, because of the work that we do, and the relationships that our navigators develop, they often have unique information. Our navigators are also trained to get creative when trying to solve a problem. So maybe somebody is struggling to afford gas or a utility bill, and there can be opportunities to save money elsewhere and redirect some of those funds. And lastly, I'll put the offer out there that I have information materials that I am able to send for you to have on hand to distribute, to promote our service to your residents to ensure that they get connected with the resources that they need. And so materials currently include magnets, business size cards, and pamphlets. And that's it for me, folks. I can stop sharing, potentially.
Any questions?
Yeah, I have one. So great presentation. But I did not know about this service until I was reading my package.
That's why.
Yeah, that's why, which is great. So we can, yes, tell people, but did this kind of start because 911 was getting too many of those types of questions? And do you know what I mean? Like, is that why you decided to start 211?
So it was started by the United Way, and they were seeing that people were having such a hard time finding the services, and they were having a hard time finding services for people. And even just in my own world, I work for 211, and it'll be 2 years this year, and I didn't realize that we had a phone number for immigration. It just didn't occur to me. We're also trained to be independent and, go to Google, do an internet search. And the reality of it is 9 times out of 10, people are missing resources or they're not getting the best resources for the situation. So I went to Google, I found an email and a form for Canadian immigration. But there's a phone number. There's a Service Canada outreach center that Service Canada doesn't advertise. And so you have to get a referral to that. There's lots of information that is not put on the internet. And so you need to find sort of the person in the know. And, we like to think that 211's the person in the know. We can help people.
Okay, and what about provincial immigration? Because we have 2 systems. So do you handle those as well?
Yeah, the government, we're funded by the provincial government and then a small portion by the United Way. So yes, so we would have provincial government, we have municipal information in there, all of that would be there. That makes a big part of what we do.
Send us down your marketing
Yes.
material. For sure.
I love it.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I would have used it a lot.
Yeah.
A couple years back.
Yeah, and it's been 10 years. So they reached out for me to update the information and I was like, oh, well, let me get more information from you of what information you want. And then I was like, oh, maybe presentation would be great because I think it would be very useful for our residents.
Yeah, definitely.
Temporary.
Yes.
Well,
We'll try and promote it.
And that's it. You folks are, leaders in your community, your law enforcement, anybody in a position of power, a doctor, people are going to go and they're going to ask those questions. And if it's not your full-time job, it's impossible to know all the resources. So we do hope that you'll refer to us.
That's great.
Awesome.
Great service.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Well, thank you very much. That was an eye opener. For sure.
Thank you. I can't wait to see our Annapolis numbers jump.
I'm sure.
No, I just.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. So we're on to our second presentation. Brian. Sit here.
Up to you, Brownie. On the screen.
I'll make it official. This is the Annapolis Remo alertable presentation by Brian Ward.
Okay.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so with that, to come speak to you folks tonight about Annapolis Remo's newest venture, which is Alertable. It's our way we're going to get word out to our community members about emergencies, evacuations, important other details about events happening that will make things move a lot smoother than they have in the past. Alertable, we launched it back in May. Currently, we have up to, I think, as of today, 738 people have signed up for that across the county. We did a lot of heavy promotion during the first week of May for Emergency Preparedness Week. We did some radio ads and we did a lot of promoting in the communities and Facebook, social media, all that stuff. So that really boosted it. The folks at Alertable, the creators, said that's our numbers are really good right now. And all it's going to take is one big event, and that's going to triple in size pretty quick. But I do have a video to show you, explain a little bit more about what Alertable is, and then if you have any questions, I'll take your questions and answer the best I can. I'll just have to share the screen here, right? All right, you can see as well that we now have our own Annapolis Remo website. You can see we've got some good graphics on there. And there's some information uploaded on that, but we're going to be updating that more time goes on. But right now our focus has been promoting Alertable to hopefully get folks signed up. So there's lots of information on our webpage to for people to read more about what it is and how you sign up and what it can do for you. And then we have this video here that I want to show you.
Floods, dangerous conditions, and scorching heat waves are put out to the test. The information is more important than ever. Alertable provides you with instant notifications of extreme events and daily situations from trusted officials. Get alerts in a format that works best for you, including SMS text, email, phone call, or our highly popular mobile app. But Alertable is not just about receiving alerts. It's about receiving the right ones. You can use the Alertable polyfiltering technology to tune out alerts that are not relevant to you, so that you only get the ones you want. For example, you can customize your alerts by location, including all the places you live, work, and visit, by official source, including your local government and authorities, by severity level for better prioritization, and by type of incident and daily situation that matters most to you. Alertable is designed for all of Canada. You can translate alerts in your preferred language. You can get alerts anywhere in Canada, whether you're at home, traveling, or just observing the well-being of loved ones elsewhere. You can also share alerts to keep your family, friends, and followers up to date and informed. You can choose many ways to get your alerts. The Alertable mobile app stands out. Advanced features like GPS location-based targeting, silent mode overrides, and detailed information with pictures and maps make it a highly popular choice. Alertable is not just for dire emergencies. Alertable to receive updates on daily situations too, including road and facility closures, service disruptions, bans and restrictions, and local gatherings and events. Alertable is your comprehensive source for all alerts. Whether you're at home, work, or away, or just keeping tabs on what's happening in your loved ones, friends, and coworkers, Alertable is there for you. Thank you for watching. Stay safe and plan ahead with Alert. To learn more, please go to your local municipal website and search Alert.
That's a peek at Alertable. Any questions on
Should we have the button on our website? Just,
I think you do, right?
Okay, we do.
Yeah, it's on all of our partners' websites, so
Great.
County of Annapolis, Town of Milton, and Town of Annapolis, yeah.
Perfect.
So I guess my biggest thing is to inform you folks so that you can become ambassadors of this and get the word out to the community. I will say too that try to get our numbers up. We're open. So we picked a date of September 30th. We're gonna have a grand prize draw. We have a portable generator as well as 72-hour preparedness kit, and we've got some other smaller prizes as well. But we're hoping that'll boost things up a little bit. So we need to promote a little bit more, get people informed, and we're hoping that the prizes will be a little bit of incentive because safety isn't up, but you know.
Well, I just joined it.
Perfect. Yeah, it's very easy to quick sign up with the app. And when you log on to go onto our website and go to the link, you can also sign up to have it landline, it'll call you, which has been will be good for remote areas, for Bear River, where it sells everything for or on the shore, things like that. I signed up for it like every way I can, want to learn more about it, and so in our tests that we've done, I've received my work phone, my cell phone, my home phone, my office phone. It also sent through emails. There's so many different options that people can sign up. So it's not going to be our one-stop shop, but it's close as we can get, right? Also, we can learn already.
Now receiving alerts.
So can I have one quick question?
Sure can.
I was in the city and there was an alert that come on my phone because they knew I was in the city and they had a boil water
Okay.
going on in Halifax.
Yeah.
So I know, it was like a big deal. Anyway, that wasn't alertable, was it? That was just automatic. Is that a different program? Like, will I still, like, if something is to happen here, will I get alertable and that? Like, is that something?
So yeah, I'm not sure if that alert you received, was it on your alertable
It
app?
was like your emergency one that comes, like if,
It was the one that we,
It came through the car.
Yeah.
It came on everybody's
Yeah,
phone,
yeah.
including my international students. We
Yeah.
all got it. The
Yeah,
car got it first,
yeah,
but
yeah, so that was just an emergency alert.
the boil water.
Yeah.
So that was the alert ready.
yeah,
So
so,
ready.
That's a national program, but the difference between alertable and alert ready is that, alert ready takes a lot more processing and a lot of documentation to fill out and get into the province, and they send it back and forth. With alertable, we're gonna be able to get the information out, we've got our templates developed, we can get that information out to all these 18, I think it says different avenues. With alert ready, it only comes across your television, radio, and your phone. Those are the only three options with alert
And
ready.
car.
yeah,
And your car.
like it
Somebody ready,
comes,
yes, somebody ready.
comes in quite
Yeah.
intense,
It does.
yeah.
So will this system show, like, there's a hurricane coming
Mhm.
and will it notify you like a day out, or is it like, oh, it's coming in the next hour and that's when you're gonna get
When
through?
you sign up for alertable, you will also get all of the Environment Canada alerts that you would normally get.
Okay,
And we now have the ability too, that if we know that a hurricane is gonna be approaching Nova Scotia, we can, like, that'll be my job, kind of, is to be ready, send that out in advance to make people aware, how to get prepared, and give updates along the way, kind of thing, like similar, if that hurricane that's down in Bermuda right now is gonna hit us, we put no alerts now to warn people. We'd probably be talking to facilities that may want to open as conference centers after the storms pass and getting everything prepared, but getting that information to the public beforehand.
okay,
So this one's more in-house, so we control the message
okay.
that goes out.
Yeah, exactly.
How many times the message goes out, what level of
How many
severity.
advance it goes out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But the other one just like, blah,
yeah.
screams it out.
And we've decided with where it's through REMO, it's gonna be purely for emergency preparedness or alerts on actual emergencies. We're not gonna, won't be for water main breaks.
Right.
Plus it's huge water main break and there's gonna need to be water stations set up or something.
Yeah,
Something like that, but it's not gonna be for council meetings or recreation.
forest fires and stuff like that.
Definitely, like I used it last month when they announced the $25,000 fine. I put that through alertable and showed it to the public.
It's great.
Pretty cool.
Good program, they happen.
You leave it back home, so. We're now in touch. Any other questions? No, that's excellent. Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Lorraine.
Thank you so much, folks. I've got some little things here for you, a magnet, and we know where to put it for you. And thank you for having me here this evening,
Thank you, Brian.
and hopefully everybody signed up for a little.
Done.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Take care.
All right, moving on, we have public input. None. So we are into unfinished business. Flag flying policy tab.
I think last month council had requested that we add the Dugas flag. Because it wasn't on the list. So that is being changed to this policy.
Okay, then, yeah.
His motion.
But it's not important, but just the nitpick.
Okay.
The following flags have already been approved by council, and then it's a list of days. Not flags. I know that's just nitpicking, but I'll just point that out and then we'll be.
Those flags are only to be flown on those days.
But they're not, it's not a list of flags. Again, I'm nitpicking,
Yeah,
but it's not a list of flags, it's a list of days. Except for the Union Jack.
so
So it could change it to date then, because that's the St. Patrick's Day flag that is flown. What the flag is called? No idea.
Maybe flags and flag days, there you go. Yeah, flags and flag days.
I need a motion.
Okay, I would recommend to council to approve the flag flying policy number 2024-10 with the addition of Dugas Day on June 18th.
Are we adding anything to this motion?
Yeah, do you want me to?
Oh, sorry, second. Okay.
So do we want to add anything to it or just keep it as?
More description on that
On
section?
number 10, do you want it to say something else?
Flag, you could say flags and flag days, maybe?
Would that be okay?
I think so. Yeah, I think that would cover your point. Yeah.
You said made a good point. You probably don't know the name of a lot of these flags that are being.
Yeah, yeah, makes it clear.
I'm happy to add that. Flags and flags.
So on the God Day is gonna be the French flag. So it should be the French flag.
Oh, and not Dugas Day.
Well, no, because if we're gonna add in number 10, the flags or the flag days, we can just leave Dugas Day.
Yeah.
And the
Nothing else.
staff would know which flag to put up.
Okay,
Okay,
And then, so we'll just make that correction to
Yeah.
item 10.
Sounds good.
perfect.
what's the motion? All those in favor? Motion is passed. We are into roof estimate for 285 St. George Street, tab 4.
So really, I labeled it incorrectly. It shouldn't be roof estimate because the budget has already been passed.
Mhm.
It's just I need to know if the dormers are coming off or staying on. I have some pictures that I'll send around to show the damage that has been done up in the attic from the leaky roof. And then some of the tiles and stuff upstairs. The quote was received just today. I sent it out late this afternoon. And to repair the dormers, it's $2,800 each.
How many dormers or?
8.
How many of the dormers are leaking?
Looks
You
like
probably
most of them are up there are in bad shape.
Because that's kind of relevant. And does it require that they be completely replaced for $2,800 or do some of the dormers need to be replaced? Do all of them need to be replaced?
Yes.
You know, I
so
think
the-
that's very relevant to the question of how much it's going to cost.
Yep. We also can't get contractors to come every time. Like, we're having a hard time getting contractors to come out and quote on this. We went up. There looks like there's mold and everything up there. The roof needs to be done. We need the roof done. So I just need for you to decide if you're removing the dormers or keeping them on so that we can move ahead with this topic.
So they all have to go, it's 22,400.
That's not that, yeah.
Well, the quotes have the dormers coming off.
Okay, that's what I thought.
The quotes show the dormers, we got two quotes, both contractors said the dormers need to be removed. The question was then asked, how much would it be to repair the dormers, which we got the quick quote today. And like I said, the budget was passed for 35, so we're still, some of the quotes are even over the 35 with the removal.
So really what we're considering is the motion that we tabled back in April
From PHAC.
from PHAC. So the point that it had raised at that time was that the dormers are considered to be a heritage feature of this building. As town council, we have a policy in place to protect the heritage buildings in our town and the heritage characteristics of those buildings. For us to then sort of grant ourselves permission to eliminate a feature of this building, which is deemed to be of heritage value, seems to me like we're setting a poor example. We're
But
telling
PHAC
people,
PHAC recommended that they be removed.
Yeah, we did, and,
Well, they weren't original to the. building.
that's what exactly what I was.
but again, they're 80 years old. And you'll find with many of our heritage buildings in town, they're not completely original. But that doesn't mean we discount an addition that has been made 80 years ago.
Yes, that is true. How, the thing that
And
I,
it was recognized as a heritage feature of the building.
Yeah.
So
Character
on
defining
the
element.
west side,
And we have done that with other buildings in
Yeah.
town. For example, the train station had a slate roof and we let them change it to asphalt, I think is on it. Because of the cost and the repairs. The cost to replace a slate with the new slate roof. So, yeah,
there's been several since I've sat on PHAC that we've made exception.
and the rules have been changed, I believe, for that. Our policy has changed that we will allow people to change roofing materials.
You still have to
No,
come
it
to
still
PHAC.
has.
You have to come to, but you're allowed to change roofing materials. That is on the list of things that you can do in the town.
Yeah,
With approval. Like you need you can't just change it. It's like with like. So if you have a asphalt roof, you have to put an asphalt roof back on unless you want to come to the Planning and Heritage Advisory Committee and ask to put a metal roof on. That needs heritage approval.
Okay, but anyway, back to my point, it's the heritage feature of the building. We're the custodians of this building. We are promoting the heritage nature of our community, and to take these off without even knowing if all of them need to come off seems a bit misguided.
And you've seen the pictures, right?
I have. And it's $2,800 to rebuild them. How much is it to repair them? Do all of them need to be replaced? Or does one or two of them need to be replaced? I think that's relevant to this question. If it's going to end up being a $5,000 cost, well, $5,000 to protect the heritage nature of our building seems to me reasonable. If it's going to be $22,000, okay, it's time to reconsider. But, if another property owner here came to us and asked us to do something similar, would we approve it?
Well, PHAC did.
typically we do, look at the cost that comes up, and if the person is saying that their building is leaking and other problems are happening because of that, then we try to help them fix the problem. And if you do lose a little bit of the heritage because of cost and aesthetics, you allow it. We have done it many times for properties.
So PHAC did not have any indication of the cost of repair or replacement at the time.
And,
No,
yeah,
it did
we had some. I'd have to look at my notes.
But that being said, the heritage feature is the 48. Or on the, so to keep the heritage feature that the building's been associated with would be the 4 that were on the west side,
There's 5, I think, on one side and 3 on the
3
other.
on the other.
Yeah, Ken has replied it to me that they all need replaced.
Okay.
They're all in poor condition and they need to be rebuilt.
So there's,
So they're all leaking, is what he's saying?
They're all in poor condition and need
Yes.
to be rebuilt.
Because I'm looking at them from the ground, I can see that, you know, what were louvers need to be painted, obviously.
But the, yeah,
But does that mean they're structurally unsound, all 8 of them?
so that's what he is telling me, yes. That there's a lot of rotten wood up there and they all need to be rebuilt.
And to be honest, if you was gonna go ahead and re-roof and do all that work, you would want these dormers, if you was to keep them, all done at that time. You wouldn't say, oh, okay, well, we'll do some now and some later. You would have them up there and do the whole project in one full swell, like sweep, I would estimate, right? I mean, I'm not a carpenter.
I kind of agree in the sense that as stewards of keeping our heritage, the town hall should probably keep its heritage. I don't think we have to do the ones that are part of the heritage features. But you're looking at $10,000 as the 5 on the one side, more than that.
If they need to be replaced.
Well, I'm kind of with Holly on that too. If you're gonna do the roof and do it all,
You're gonna do it.
replace them all.
Yeah.
But if they don't need to be replaced, what I'm saying is,
But can
you know,
they
if you look at
do
the
it?
photos, there are elements of maybe some of the dormers that need to be replaced. So we have some rotten wood, some trim on a dormer that needs to be replaced. It needs to be painted, it needs to be properly flashed so that there is no potential for future leaking. If that is all that needs to be done, it's not gonna be $2,800 for per dormer. It's going to be $2,800 per dormer if we take off what's there now and put up a new one in its place. According to the quote from the roofing company. So, okay, if all of them need to be replaced, then we're looking at a considerable amount of money. If only some elements have to be replaced on the majority of those dormers, the cost could be far less.
I don't. I would want to repair. And then have an issue with it 5-10 years from now.
But the key is.
It's fair one.
The key is to make sure that there's no water penetration. And for some reason, we've had issues with water penetration on at least a couple of them. And
Severe.
it means that when whatever company does the roofing, does it properly, ensures that where there's a connection between the dormer and the roof, you have it properly flashed so no water gets in. What has happened is they were not properly flashed by the previous roofing company. If it is done right, there is no intrinsic reason why dormers should leak. You know, many homes in Annapolis Royal in Canada have dormers without having a persistent issue with water penetration. And that's because they've been properly taken care of.
So maybe the motion should say something like, provided X number, you know, I don't know, but provided that the number that need to be completely replaced is not.
No, I just need a motion whether you wanna keep them or you don't wanna keep them so that I can move ahead and get the roof fixed.
Yes.
That's all. I'm not asking you for, I have $3,500, that's within the budget. I need to know if you wanna keep them or you remove them.
With the budget, just a quick question. Didn't we approve $35,000 for the roof, or did we
Yeah.
approve a envelope of money for renovations to the building?
No, the 35,000 is just for the roof.
So it's an overage, so we have to vote on an overage.
Right, if we, yeah. So just another text from Ken, whether it's relevant or not, but Muggsy tried to repair them last time the roof was repaired and stated then they should be removed. So it's not like we've had two quotes and a third one saying that they should be removed. But if you want to keep them, we can keep them. I just need direction because pretty soon I'm not gonna be able to get the roof done and I have, every time it rains, I have leaks.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not in support of the motion. I think it's obvious, I've voiced my concerns. I think that as custodians of a heritage property in town, especially as the group that is charged with enforcing heritage standards throughout the community, that it's incumbent upon us to take care of our own. So
You would like to see them replaced.
I would like to see them repaired. If, tell me exactly how many need to be replaced.
but I've told you more than once that I am getting the information that they all need to be replaced. And for some reason you are disagreeing with what? I've got two contractors, Acadia Roofing and Tri-County. I also got a text from Ken saying that Muggsy said they needed to come down. There's no more information that I can provide, so I just need a decision.
So I guess what we're trying to decide is if we're gonna have to replace them or not.
Well, there's a
On
recommendation.
or off, I just need to
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking that if we have to replace them for 22,000, it's gonna be more than that, because so we're gonna go way over budget. And the taxpayers will have to eat that, and I don't think it's necessary. I really don't. They was not put on when this building was built. And we have made allowances for many owners. And we're no different, where we're trying to save money. So I'm gonna make the motion. It can be defeated or not, but I think we've talked about it and we all can decide. But I would recommend to council to give the applicant at 285 St. George Street heritage approval to remove the existing vent dormers on the roof, restoring it to its original state, which will reduce the potential for structural damage as detailed in application 2410 HER, providing the requirements of the land use bylaw are met.
I'll second that.
And I have, the photos are great, but you see one area where there's definitely water penetration. I'm going to assume it's in the area of one of the dormers, but it's hard to tell from the interior. But I don't see from this that there's evidence of all 8 of them leaking. And that would be my primary concern. Are they leaking? If they're not leaking, then anything that needs to be done to those dormers needs to be done from the outside. And would indicate to me that there's not a structural issue with them. Yes, it would be probably cheaper to just take them all off and put on some plywood in their place. But I'm not seeing that this is going to necessarily have to cost us $2,800 per dormer. So that's.
I'm looking at the 2 quotes. And is there a recommendation for which one is it, or you just,
No, I just need to know if the dormers are going off or going on. The operational, I've got the budget and operational, I'll move forward. I just need to know from council.
so, but each one of these are both slightly above what was budgeted, what was approved?
Well, we have to go to tender. These were just to give information to council
Oh,
when we were doing the budget
okay,
process.
and then you're gonna get tenders for them, okay.
Right, because, and then it showed, they both stated that they needed to be removed.
Okay. Further discussion on dormers? Okay, question on the motion, all those in favor? Aye. Against? Noted?
Yes, please.
Noted. The motion is passed. All right. HR policy, tab 5 and 6. Just that we open up on, so on tab 5, there is, under the medical, there is the split that was proposed. That's not the split that's actual, that's just,
This is proposed for going forward, yeah.
so we have to, if there's an adjustment on that split, that'll be adjusted in that. This
Yeah.
document.
Yeah, so if it goes back to 50-50, we'll just put it back to 50-50 and then next month. Or at council,
Okay.
then I'll have whatever is decided today. If there's a decision.
Okay,
And I think Amory had done an Excel spreadsheet that sent around. There's some questions that were, went back and forth today. So the policy, I think most of the items council agreed a couple months ago on, so the only one in that one was the benefits split. And then the second document. The tab 6, what's the tab 6? That is the information, right?
Emails.
The emails, yeah.
there seem to be a few items on coming out of this. One is the split, one is the idea of counselors being on it or not.
So that's the second tab. So that's number 4 on the agenda. So the HR policy doesn't refer to the counselors. It's just the split.
So what we're deciding upon is what has been proposed
Yeah.
by the Director of Finance. That's the split move from 50-50 to 65-35.
Correct.
Why 65-35? I see Annapolis County, for example, is 60-40.
Yep. And Middleton is
50-50.
50-50. Digby is 72-28. We're one, yeah.
And
They have a
it
little-
has 2 tiers.
And they do.
They provide for an increase after 5 years service. So it's just to give you an idea of what the others were doing.
So if we had 2 tiers and we said those that make less than $50,000 salary a year could be at a 60-40 split, and those that are above that are a 50-50.
Or you could go, or you go the other way. If they go
That
by
doesn't really
service. Yeah,
support equity and inclusion,
Well,
which is,
the issue wasn't equity, the issue was a certain staff had problems with the affordability of the dental. Like the life plan isn't a change in cost, it was the dental side.
and medical.
And the medical side that was increased. And to me, this is always, the change in split is like a salary increase. Right across the board, and we did salary increases to the certain staff, and we did not for other staff, so. That's not the equitable way of kind of looking at it either. So those that have means. Why should they have the benefit of getting in more of a bonus than those that don't have means? So that's why been thinking about this possible tiered system where those that are making less have a little bit of a assist from the town. But those that are making above that level, 50-50 is a reasonable split. If there's a group, they want to change from 100% of dental to 80% of dental, that's a reasonable. Actually, you mentioned that the county themselves determine at budget time which plan they're gonna go with.
So the employees get to vote, but council has the final decision.
Yeah.
Correct.
Which
Yeah.
is something that I thought would be reasonable under this council as well.
I think so too, depending on, our budget and what we can and can't
swing.
I know what happens in the private world, because all of a sudden we get, this is what we're doing now, because this is what we can afford now.
Yeah.
But, I thought that might be an option that might be, I threw it out there as something. As possible, as a reasonable way of looking at it.
But if we looked at that budget, looks like option B is the one that hits budget and not option A.
Yeah,
And because you're gonna have increased costs, because you're gonna have two more come on. So that's just another factor.
I mean. And I guess you really won't know.
See that, then that's,
You don't know your cost until the next year.
You know,
that would be the upcoming year anyways, because we're already in this split that we did for this year. But going forward, I think that would be an option that council should take into consideration at budget time. But what is it? Is it A, B, or C that they can?
And the other is the Chamber of Commerce has quite a few larger employers in the town.
Mm.
And their rates are really affordable, and maybe that's something we, I hadn't thought about it before. But there are people on the Chamber of Commerce plan for a good reason, and larger employers in our vicinity. So that might be something to look at, because if they can afford it, we can probably afford it.
Right.
And probably, provide a good level of, maybe a better value for the buck, I don't know, until we look at it. But that's something else to consider. Staff didn't want to take on self-insurance because, yes, it would create more work for them. And they're kind of inundated already and stretched pretty
Well,
thin.
it also depends on staff usage of medical and dental. Like if it's heavy, then there's really not a lot of benefit. If it's light, then there, could be a huge benefit to that.
Yeah.
Comments? I just throw that idea there.
Well, you've thrown an idea and Emery has thrown out an idea, and neither of which is really what we're dealing with right now. So do we send this back to the drawing board and?
Well, I guess we're talking about the split, like, that's what mine was about, like, I'm not happy with the 60-35 split.
Yeah, I am not either. I would be willing to consider changing the splits to maybe the 60-40, but this is the first I've thought about your idea
I
and whether that is.
didn't know it was possible.
But you could do
I don't know
both.
either.
It still could be a 60-40 split, but then the counselors could decide at the time what plan. Am I correct? Yeah, so we could decide on the percentage.
And
no
if-
matter
if
what.
We're gonna do a 1-tier or 2-tier.
Yeah. I'm comfortable with the 60-40.
You can keep the 50-50,
Yes, I'm.
Yeah.
right? Like, I just, once again, just looking for a
We are.
decision,
we
right? Like if
are.
you were
Well,
happy with the 50-50,
Staff
then you
came
can,
this year,
yeah,
and because of the increase, needed or requested assistance from town, which was given. And then the director of finance came back and said, well, we'd like to see it at 60-35.
65-35.
By 35. What am I gonna? I can't do math, really, I can't.
It's late in the day.
But it's,
And we can leave it at 50-50 and pass the rest of the things down and have a discussion
Yeah.
again later. Because we changed,
People
there
want to
was
do that, I'd
other,
be fine with that.
there was other things that were changed in there that we had all agreed on previously. So if this is a sticking point and we just can pass it, we can recommend it with, as it stands, 50-50, and then maybe
At
we
budget
pass this
time,
one, and then we could maybe in January look at the NSFM, no,
pass it to
the
Chambers.
which,
the next.
Chamber of Commerce.
the chamber.
Chambers,
And see
yeah.
what the chambers is as
It'd be
another
fine to
option.
look into it.
Correct,
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that sounds reasonable.
We wasn't getting it.
so then, we're not,
Yes, you are.
We're gonna,
We're gonna get the HR policy done, yeah.
50-50 then.
Yeah.
okay, so that's the first one, the HR policy, to recommend to council to approve the human resource policy dated June 20 24,
Yeah,
as
not
presented,
as-
not as presented.
with the benefit plan being a 50-50 split.
There you go.
Yeah,
Seconder for that, please.
I'll second.
Further discussion on that? Question on the motion? All those in favor? Aye. Next one, NSF and benefit plan.
So now this is another one that is for whether you want councils to stay on the plan or remove from the plan.
yeah, it was kind of a 50-50. You know, some other municipalities do it and some
The
don't.
councilors that are on the plan, and I had a question on this one, was, is the full amount looked at as income?
Does that mean what?
So the half of the town is paying, it's not looked at as an taxable expense?
That would be a Melanie question for
Yeah, I
sure.
know.
Yeah, sorry.
It should be.
But
That's what I was thinking.
I don't know, like on our T4 slips, whether it shows up or not.
It does. I think I've DFT for subs for.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't, yeah.
It is not.
So the councilors that are on it are getting paid more than the councilors that aren't on it.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Rolling it over here.
On the two towns in our vicinity, don't cover council.
But they also make a lot more money than our counselors.
Yes.
Yes, they do.
I think it's.
You know, if you're trying to get councils people to run, it might be a good thing to say that you could be part of the benefit plan.
The real problem is that councils set their own benefit
Benefit,
plan and
yeah.
compensation. That's the problem for everybody right through the province.
So,
Yeah, nothing we can do about it. Those are the rules.
and if you wanted to save money, this would be a place that you could save a little bit of money. That was why the director of finance thought about bringing it forward, but completely your decision.
But doesn't it increase if the least, if you lose all the counselors or even one, doesn't that drive sometimes the cost of the benefits up?
Would have been.
No, Melanie had asked that question, if there's a minimum number of people, and the answer was no.
Okay,
So,
I'm certainly for keeping it available for counselors, and it really doesn't reflect me because this is for the next.
Well, the age bracket of like from the town that would be on counselor or running council would be at a level that may not have any sort of benefit package.
Exactly.
So it's a good, it is a good
Yeah, I think.
perk for that.
Well, it is a little bit, I mean, they pay into it, it's not free.
no, yeah,
But it's, yeah,
It's a perk, but we've gone through our budget. We know what the future looks like with the tidal power plant revenue going. We keep on adding little expenses to our budget.
this isn't an add-on, this has always been.
It could be an
Yeah.
add-on if all 5 counselors decide to add on to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And-
But
true.
when you're reviewing, when somebody else is reviewing counselors' stipends and all that, you could look at it then.
Mhm.
Like to me,
See, this wasn't as part of the stipend plan. This is,
no, but if you're looking at total compensation, which is how people normally look at it, there's an inequity now and that, some people get it, some people don't. So, I mean, you could look at it both ways. I know what you mean as a recruiting tool, but on the other side, it's not equitable either,
Mhm.
There's two issues there that kind of are opposite.
no, you can always say the counselors pay in full. They want it.
That sounds fair.
it's very costly.
That's not fair. Yeah, they might as well just go get their own plan somewhere else, right?
I'd be for taking it out and then every council can look at compensation. Anyway, that's just me.
I would like to take it out.
Well, there's a motion, and go ahead, make it.
To recommend to council to remove the option for council members to join the benefits plan as of November 2024.
And I would second that.
All right. Further discussion on that? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye.
I,
One nay,
One nay.
but a new council could, there's nine differs. They could change all that.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you guys. 2 decisions in a row.
All right, okay. Well,
We've had
Under
this
an
one-
hour.
We'd have this one on the agenda since April.
I know, it's time to go on the agenda, it's time to just fish and cut bait.
Give you one more.
We can.
Area rate policy, tab 7.
I can go on this one. I would move to recommend to council approval of the fire rate policy number 2024-09, dated June 2024 as presented.
I'll second that.
Discussion. Hearing none, question on the motion. All those in favor? Aye. Against, motion is passed. 3. All right, new business. Review of the medic building incentive letter to Minister of Communities, Culture, Tourism and Heritage. That was tab 8. Do we,
Yeah, I can recommend to council to send a letter regarding filming incentives on.
It may not be needed anymore because the province announced a program.
to do that?
Oh, sorry.
So those that are beyond 150 kilometers from Halifax get 10% bonus.
They seem to have heard us.
Wow, they're listening to our council.
Thematic meetings.
But should we be punting this back to medic just to make sure that this is what they want to do? Just question.
Well, yeah, they
Wow.
could be.
Change to a thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but that's what I mean. Do you want to send this back to medic? So
Yes,
They can respond.
so we can, because I think a thank you letter is a really good idea.
What are they responding to? Because we've never sent a letter.
No, just, I think,
No, we,
No.
thank you for the,
Yeah, just saying we appreciate it. That would make a difference for us.
We let medic decide.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
well, we can send it back, see if you want to do a thank you or revision or something.
There it is. Sorry, Holly.
thanks.
Good with
How
that?
did this come out?
Then we're going on to the next one.
Yesterday, nothing else. Yeah.
I can send it.
Medic collaborative marketing fund, tab 9.
So this is just kind of for information, the medic is going ahead with a new collaborative marketing fund. It's within our budget, so just kind of wanted to bring it to council's attention. And we are just working on the little criteria of how to evaluate them, and we're hoping to have it up and running by September.
Good, Bob.
Only one town business has to be part of this, needs collaborative plan for marketing.
At least one.
At least one, so if we have a plan where there's a dozen different businesses, but only one business is from Annapolis, we put $500 towards this. Potentially.
It's reviewed,
Potentially, yes.
Yeah, but if they were the only applicant, for example.
then we probably get $500.
mm,
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of great business just outside of Annapolis that we would all benefit for. Like if it was a business in town and say the golf course and maybe
An
the,
Airbnb or.
or yeah, the
Airbnb,
hotel
or-
there, like, to me, that is just amazing. I mean, realistically, 12 and 1 in town, that would, not to say it couldn't happen,
No, but just to get the cooperation going, like just,
Right.
to reward people for collaborating.
yeah.
But I agree, it would do everybody good.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's just a bigger thing.
It's a little push.
Little,
Well, the evaluation
We have the-
criteria kind of balance it off, because you have to see it as a benefit to the town,
Yeah.
right? It's right there. So in the evaluation criteria, I thought it was nicely covered off.
yeah, we're just not gonna hand it.
Right, let's evaluate it.
Victoria Beach and we have one business in town, probably.
Right, no,
Then why don't get together to promote an event that's happening in town, for example?
yeah,
Might bring quite a few people in a cooperative effort.
I think it's great.
I will say, if I were an economist rather than a historian, I probably would argue that the town shouldn't be basically trying to steer businesses into a certain type of marketing. It's a decision that should be made by business owners themselves, whether it's important to be, whether they should be doing a collaborative effort or solely sole advertising. But
This was an effort you had to try to get collaboration, partnerships to work together. And if they are in the existing now, it's a reward if it's a benefit to the town. So much rather see that than somebody come to me and say, can you give me $500 advertising the Chronicle? You know, some Halifax marketing magazine.
Yeah.
We're not doing it. Town isn't doing any of it. This is just a little bit of help if somebody decides to work in a group and get something done. So I think that's what we are here to do.
Okay.
That's my thoughts. Okay, we're good. Any more?
No.
All right, I'll say back to me. Request for decision, provision of taxation information bylaw. Tab 10. I was reading that.
So the only changes to that, so currently we charge $10 to the banks twice a year. So when we send out our taxes, anybody that has a mortgage, we charge the bank $10 per mortgage assessment or a mortgage,
So they pay you, the town, taxes on a mortgage.
right, and we charge them $10 for all the administration fees because we send them all copies of their mortgages and do all the work for that. So Melanie wanted to change that to $25, but because it's a bylaw, they've changed the bylaw first to state that the amount will be in the fees and fines policy. And then once the bylaw is passed, then we update the fees and fines policy to the amount that she's recommending of $25. But it's just a bylaw change.
And it probably makes sense not to have a dollar figure in the bylaw.
Yeah, because it's hard to change. Yeah.
Yeah. That.
So yeah, so we have to do this first so we can put it in there, so. Okay. Just a process kind of thing, and thankfully with the new changes to the MGA, we do not have to post this in the newspaper anymore, so we don't have to pay newspaper ads every time we change a bylaw.
Great,
We just have to post it on our website. That is really good.
great.
Okay, moving straight ahead, can I have a motion, please?
Yeah,
I'll move.
I'll second.
Read it.
I will move to recommend to council approval of first reading of the provision taxation information bylaw number 200 as presented. I'll second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, all those in favor? Aye. Motion is passed. So do we do the next one here? Tab 17? Oh, yeah.
The monument.
Request for decision to deportation monument unveiling reception.
Okay, I will recommend to council to support the cost of a small reception at the Acadian Deportation Monument unveiling to a maximum of $300 from the marketing general budget.
I'll second that.
So I was reached out, someone reached out to me from the, not Federation, but the Monument Society,
Acadian
Acadian Monuments
Yeah,
Society, to see if we would be interested in hosting a small reception at the site. And they thought between 20-25 people, just thinking of lemonade and cookies, something easy, because it's July 28th is the event.
And we got
Yeah.
Park County.
Yes, it's at Parks Canada. It's not them doing the monument though.
Oh, okay. So just to process the question. This wasn't brought through Medic. This was just us going and saying, hey,
Well, it's a short, yeah, it was a quick turnaround. The event's on July 28th. So. I feel we have the money in the budget for the $300.
cookies.
For cookies and cake.
Lot of water.
Yeah, I think it's great. I can't wait to see it unveiled.
And, you know, they
Where-
just asked us, so I have to let them know, so that's why.
And the
You're
reception
interested.
is going to actually take place at the monument.
Correct.
And if there's a rain, if it's a rain.
They have a big tent already that it's quite,
It'll be all covered.
yeah.
Okay.
They're planning it, like, they're planning everything. They just
I think it's reasonable.
thought a partnership with us since it is in the town and
Okay, further discussion? Question on the motion, all those in favor? Aye. Motion passed. Appoint new member to the Accessibility Advisory Committee. The motion,
Go for it.
Okay, I would recommend to council the approval of the appointment of Noah Scanlon, active communities and recreation coordinator to the Accessibility Advisory Committee for the term ending December 31st, 2024.
Short turnaround.
seconder,
I'll second it.
further discussion,
That's great.
it was Ken. So Ken will be taken off and Noah will be added.
great.
Yeah.
Any further comments? Hearing none, question on the motion, all those in favor? Aye. Motion is passed.
Do we have a full accessibility advisory committee now?
No,
We're
it's
still
just
short
short.
one person who would, but we have approached somebody, we're waiting for that person to decide.
Okay.
We're almost there.
Valley Waste temporary borrowing resolution.
These come up all the time. They, the big budget is 1 million, but our little portion is. Number 18,000.
18,300 and
Need a motion?
I will read it. To recommend that council approve the borrowing of the aggregate principal amount of $1,735,000 by Valley Region Solid Waste Resource Management Authority, and that the town of Annapolis's council unconditionally guarantee repayment of $18,390.
a second.
Discussion on this? So this is the
We don't have choice.
default, we're on over 18,
Yeah.
and we did receive something back from
Oh,
like,
yes.
which basically almost covers the whole thing anyways. Cool. Any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Great. Joint Accessibility and Equity Anti-Racism Committee.
So at the conference that I was at last month or the month before, the province announced that all municipalities now have to have an equity and anti-racism plan. They are suggesting that we do the accessibility and equity and racism plan as one plan. It's due every 3 years. The new plan is mandated to be done by April 1st, 2025. And the county of Annapolis, the town of Middleton, the village of Lawrencetown, and myself had a meeting last week to see if we would consider doing one joint plan with the 4 units. We're all having trouble getting members on our accessibility committees. And so this way we would have one joint plan for the whole area. And there would be 2 members from each, so that Annapolis Royal would have 2 members, the county 2 members, Lawrencetown 2, and Middleton 2. And we have to figure out, and we have to also have public meetings before we can go ahead with our submission. So just looking to see if council agrees that one joint plan for the whole 4 units would be possible, so that we can work together and start moving ahead with that.
Where's your meeting?
It's great.
Yeah.
Great.
So are you gonna pull the members out of the Accessibility Advisory Committee? Would that be your?
Later on at that point and see who would like to sit on it. There's the requirements, though, that you have to have 50% has to be a representative. of
underrepresented or
underserved, yeah, so we still have to make sure
Yeah.
between that. And so maybe Middleton would have two people that would qualify in that way, and we'd only have one or something.
Come up with the right mix.
The right mix, yeah.
Okay,
And then the four CIOs are gonna meet in September and do up a joint plan and working
I think it's a brilliant idea.
and go with
Yeah.
that. So great to see that we're all working together
Yeah,
on another initiative, so. It's,
Probably the best way to get it done.
yeah, short deadline.
Board appointment, Lawrencetown Community Development Cooperative.
So this is the new adventure, when we were talking about budget. Our internet census were high and our internet at Public Works is horrible. And so we had a meeting with the gentleman from Lawrencetown. And he mentioned that they have their own internet in Lawrencetown. It's a co-op, so it's called Lawrencetown. Cooperative Development.
Community development.
Cooperative. Right.
Community development.
Yeah. So they supply Lawrencetown with internet for $50 a month. You have to be a member. It costs $100 to be a member. And then,
A year.
yeah, no, just one-time membership fee of $100.
Wow.
And then it's $50 a month for their internet services. So it looks like we can move over to the system. So currently, the town pays almost $6,000 a year for internet between the hub, Public Works, Town Hall, and the police. Once we switch over, there's gonna be some cost to switch over, but once we switch over, we'll only have to pay $1,700 a year for internet for all of the units. And because it is a co-op, once we get up and running, then we can let our residents and commercial businesses be members of the co-op, and so they could buy in to this co-op if they wanted to get internet services from that. From us, then, because we're gonna be partners, so. They would like me to be a board member, so we can get it up and running. There are some costs that will be going forward, like we'll have to buy our rack mount. We have to buy a new router and some switches, and there are some costs, but I'll bring those forward kind of later on before we
make the switch.
make the switch over. Can't think of any other, what kind of questions? So currently our IT services out for tender at the same time. So hoping that between the IT services and the new internet provider, we can start them together on the right foot, everybody working together and talking together.
So what kind of service is it? Is it a satellite service? Is it a hardwired?
Hardwired, yeah.
So is it like through?
And then
Through
the Telus, well, Eastlink is our current provider, so they buy the services from Eastlink.
Yeah.
And we'll be putting an antenna on our roof here. And then we're talking maybe at the post office so that we can, so it must not be hardwired because they have to get to Public Works as well.
Okay.
And the trees, they can't see.
So they'll probably have that's probably the heaters will be, so that they can just have a direct line to
Direct line
that.
of sight to,
And you can pick it up in your own. But it'll probably be hardwired in here.
yeah. It's
I know that
hardwired into
Lawrencetown has a
this.
data farm,
Yes,
and the data farm there is faster than and more stable than what they have in Halifax with fiber optics.
and I think they mentioned that they knew when the internet was down before any person, like any residential person reported it, they were already working on fixing it, so. They seem to be like a good company, we've had quite a few conversations with
It all started with physician recruitment.
an internet.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Collaboration.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
that's
pretty
true.
impressive up there.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's great.
I knew when I was mayor, the guy that was on their
Brian Reed,
bill, yes, but he was, yes, Brian.
yeah, and he's the one we're still working,
He's
but,
very, very good.
yeah. So just wanted to make sure that this is the direction that we'll be going. to switch over and.
Smart.
Oh, and the other thing that he did mention that we'll be doing it in stages. But some of the items that we need to purchase, we can use gas tax for. So he's gonna let us go ahead and install them, and then in April, when our new budget comes out, we'll put them through gas tax and pay them back. So they're gonna do like a little loan until we get up and running, so.
So what do you think the entire setup cost will be for us?
About the equipment that I'm looking at is around $5,800. I need a rack upstairs. Right now, when he walked in our server room, he was like, this room is way too hot. Your server is working too hard because there's no ventilation in the room. So he's suggesting we buy a rack that has the fans in the racks to keep the equipment all cool. Organize all that, put that all together. And then there's a rotor that's about $1,400. The switch is, it's called a switch. I don't really know, but that was $700. And then the rack mount is 26, so it comes to about 5,800 of the equipment to get it kind of set up. And then once we have the 20 people, and then we can go out and get the other 20 people, and then our cost goes down again. So it's like a rolling kind of install.
You may have incremental purchases to, as more people go online, it would.
Right, but that would be through the co-op and not through the town, right? The co-op would pay for.
So is there any guarantee of service quality?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So
they've been doing it. Amory, do you remember how many years they've got it up there?
Should have brought my notes. No.
I think it's been more than 5.
Yeah, I didn't bring my notes, sorry.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, can't remember how many years, but yeah. I think they have most of Lawrencetown is on their thing, Eastlink, and I think he had said that ExploreNet keeps going through and nobody will even listen to them because
they've got a
they're
better
getting
deal.
a better deal right now, yeah.
They have a really good subscription rate in town.
Yeah, and they have their own IT right on site and they monitor it and it's, yeah. And they use it for the Lawrencetown Village as well.
And the village is in excellent financial condition.
Yeah.
So, better than the counties based on their last presentation.
Yeah,
And they're just in really excellent shape. They owe nothing.
yeah, and they've been talking to Chief Kane to make sure that all of the security with their internet and they can work through that and have all the capabilities to do that. So I know Chief Kane's been talking with them as well too.
That would be my only concern, that the service quality is what we would need. We don't want to have a repeat on the phone lines.
Yes, and then once then we're switching over our phone lines to that service once we get it as well.
Yeah.
So you'll save money there as well.
Yeah.
And it's scalable, would be good too.
Mhm. So.
Well, so you know, when you're looking for businesses, I
Yeah.
have one.
Yep, so I do need a motion to be on the board though. And I'm not sure if that was
It's not on the list.
not on the list
So let me
today.
be creative.
Yeah.
Maybe like shoot over.
Sure. All right, I would move that the CIO be appointed to the Lawrencetown Community Development Cooperative as a board appointee.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, all those in favor? All right, so now we are into correspondence, encouragement to municipal leaders, letter. Any comments on the letter? Hearing none, expenditures for the candidate. community-
Sorry, are we going to sign on? They're asking for an endorsement and they're talking about wharves. We've got a wharf and waterfront facilities. We've got that. Do we want the flexibility to be able, so basically it would allow us more flexibility on what we put in for. So,
I think we'd support it. We sign on. If it gives us greater opportunities to find funding for projects that we find essential for the community, then great.
so we're okay with that.
Well, there's no harm in signing on to it, I don't see that proceeding in fashion. Good, do you need a motion on that sign on or anything like that?
No, just direction that,
Just direction, yep.
Response from the Honorable Timothy Hallman, MLA Minister of Environment and Climate Change, tab 16. Any discussion, comments on that letter?
and that was just the response from our old forest, save our old forest, yeah.
Like in,
They're studying that back over to the group.
Yeah.
Hopefully they come back and say yes. We'll save that in a section.